Hey, what's up guys? Chris Connor here and welcome to another Creatrix tutorial. Today, we're going to take an in-depth look on how you can design a cinematic gunshot like you see in the films. Despite the fact that it's one of the most famous visual effects, many tutorials dismiss vital information, but we're going to fix that. In part 1 of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you do the visuals of a gunshot, but in part 2, we're going to take it to the next level with sound design. With that said, let's take a look at the clip. Now, there are many things going on here, so let's start with what's in front of the lens. Despite the fact that I had the Hitman clip ready for the tutorial, I went and filmed myself again with a different prop gun. I did this because in the first one, I used a blowback airsoft gun which costs around $75, and what it means is that as I press the trigger, the slide blows back on its own. Now, I know that many of you out there do not have the money to spare on airsoft guns for films and tests, so I went and shot myself again with a spring pistol that cost me $20. Now, that said, if you're serious about your production, I would highly suggest to invest in a blowback gun because of realism and you can't fake everything in post. Now, that's only the case that you can actually earn the money back, so yeah. Now, also, as you can see, I dressed up before shooting. Now, I did this because, guys, it's not just what we do in post that gives a footage the cinematic feel, but also what's in front of the lens. So keep that in mind when you shoot your clip or your short film. With that said, fire up After Effects and let's get started. So now that you have After Effects open, the first thing you should do is go here, click this thing, and this opens the project settings. Now this is what I select, and the reason why, well, it's not super complicated, but it's going to take a while for me to explain it, and I already did a vid for those settings as well as render settings, so take a look, the link will be in the description below. But anyway, make sure you're either on 32 or 16 bits, and I'll press OK. So now I'm ready to import my file, so I will go to my folder, open this, and this is what I got. I have my sound effects, my visual effects, and my clip. So I will click my clip, and I will drop it into After Effects. Drag and drop. Awesome. I'll select my clip and bring it into this new composition key. And now we have composition and my clip. So what I usually do, you know what, let's change this to full, even though we are recording at the same time of editing, and that's a pain, but who cares? So what I usually do when I do visual effects, I like to mirror the clip, because if you look the same thing for too long, it gets crazy. So this is the actual recording. So I will scroll to the point, there we go, where I have the gun and I'm about to shoot it. So I will, by pressing page down, I will go frame by frame. A lot of frames, guys. There we go, almost there. 1, 2, 3. Damn it. 4, 5, 6. There we go. Okay. So I'll go to the point before the actual gun moves, and we have motion blur, which is this point right here. And this is where the visuals start. So what I will do, I will select my clip and hit Ctrl D to duplicate. Awesome. And then hit Ctrl Shift D to split it. I will delete the previous one, move one frame forward, and do the same thing. So Control Shift D, and delete. Awesome. So now I will select my pen tool and zoom in here. I will select my clip and try to only select my slide, which is not super hard. Now, please keep in mind that what we're about to do, we basically want to make the slide move back as a real gun. And this works for very specific angles. Like this one is a good angle because you can kind of see the slide, but also the fingers do not intercept the slide. If you do, oh, that's a tough one. But yeah. So now that I have my mask ready, I will click this thing to hide it and then select my layer and move it backwards. Right about, I would say there. Then I will press F to reveal the mask feathering values, and I will change this to like 3. Just a bit of feather. You know what? Let's make it 5. And then I will close this and hit M twice, and this one opens the mask overall values. And I will go to mask expansion and make -1. Maybe -2.5. Awesome. Okay, so now with my clip selected, I will go to Effects, Blur and Sharpen, and Directional Blur. Because this thing is supposed to move like super fast, so I will change this to like 10. Good enough. And we just auto-saved. So now we have this, which doesn't look like much, but it's better than nothing. So now it's time for the Muzzle Flash. So for this one, I use the independent filmmaker standards, which is basically action essentials, and I went to my Muzzle Flare folder and I selected Muzzle Flash 7, 8, 10, and suppressed fire 1. I also have a bit of smoke and my shell casting. Now, I also brought this one, and it's interesting because if you see here, it says cell smoke, and I take it a step further, and I like to have like when the cell is supposedly be ejected by the gun, I like to have a bit of smoke there as well, and I created this based on this clip by splitting it and then stitching it together again to have this. Now, let me show you. It's basically this little thing. So you have a bit of sparks and then just smoke, and you will see how we're going to use this because it's pretty cool. So I will bring, let's take it step by step. I will take Muzzle Flash number 1 and drop it in. Then I will drop it into my composition. Awesome. I will bring it forward to the point where we actually shoot the thing. I will zoom in, and it's right there. Awesome. So this is what we got. Looks pretty decent. So here's what we do now. We'll right click, go to time, and time stretch. Now, these clips are awesome, but they're also a bit slow. So what I really like to do is speed them up, because then the gunshot becomes way more snappier and like impactful. So I'll change the speed to be twice as fast, and that means I'll have to, the stretch factor will have to be 50. So 50 and okay. Cool. So what we need to do now is click our layer and reposition it in order to like fit the clip. So as you can see, it's a bit small. So I'll click S on the keyboard and change it to 120. Enter, and then I will try to put it in the barrel right there. Awesome. Looks pretty good, but now I need to play with the blending mode. Now I will click this thing and change it to either add or screen. Now I will choose add, and I'll tell you why. As you can see, if I press Ctrl Z to go back and forward, you can see the difference. Now, here's a trick, guys. The darker your actual scene, the better this effect will look. And it's not just this effect. Every effect that uses light, glow, etc., like let's say lightsaber, it will look way more awesome if the scene is dark. Example, the new Star Wars movie, the lightsaber scene in the forest, it was during the night. Now, effects like gunshots tend to look better in like darker scenes, such as this one. If it's a bright scene, you will still see the effect, but it's not going to be as impressive, let's say. So, if the scene is darker, I usually select Add as a blending mode. If the scene is brighter, I will put Screen, and then I will use Saturation in order to try and balance the effect, in order to make it more visual, let's say, but more impressive at the same time. So, now that I've done that, it's time to move on to the next phase, which is basically the cell ejection from the gun. Now for this one, I use two things. If I open my file, cool, I use a cell layer, which is the 52 count, but I also use a cell smoke, which I will show you how to do. So for first things first, I will bring on the shell layer and I will drop it in. I will zoom out and bring it forward to our timeline, right there. Now I will play with the speed to like find where I want it to like show up, let's say, and I will crop it there. Control, let's just let's just delete the previous one. I will zoom back in, and for this one I will actually change the time as well, make it faster. So time stretch 50, enter, awesome. Now as you can see, obviously it looks ridiculous because it's way too big. So I'll click S again and let's 20, reposition, still too much, let's say 17. Closer to what we need. Now as you can see, it doesn't really merge well with the clip in terms of like color, so we need to do a bit of color correction, which is super easy. So I'll go to Effects, Color Correction and Curves, and we'll jump up the brightness a bit, and then go to Effects, Color Correction and Tint, and for the tint effect I'll change it to 10. Awesome. Now it fits a lot better than before, but now we need to animate the shell that ejects, right? So I will press the layer and click P for the position. I will keyframe the position and then click page down for 3 times. Essentially 3 frames. So 1, 2, 3. Awesome. And I will take the layer and push it out of the frame. Then by using this selection, I will try to make a smooth curve. Once there and once right here. There it is. And I will just try to make like a smooth curve, an ejection curve, and play with it and see what looks better. So now for 3 frames, our shell is in the shot. Now I think that's too much, if I have to be honest, for something that's as close as the shot to the camera. It needs to be like for 2 frames, but let's see how it looks. So I will toggle the switch and bring up the layer settings for the composition, and I will enable motion blur. As you can see now, without me doing anything, because the layer moves within the composition, it has motion blur enabled. Now, if you think that the motion blur is too much or too little, there's a fix. You go to composition, you click composition settings, advanced, and here you play with the shutter angle and shutter sample to like make, basically you control the amount of blur that you want the composition to have. It's pretty cool. Perfect. Okay, so let's go 1 frame forward and 1 frame more. That's it. Okay. Looks pretty decent. I will preview it later when all the effects take place, but for now we'll press B on the keyboard and bring the timeline right there. Awesome. So now we're almost there. What I need to do, or more like what I want to do, is have smoke ejecting from this part of the gun as well. For this one, I figured out a cool trick. So I'll bring in the cell smoke, which you do not have. We have to make. It's easy. But now, here where the automatic fire comes in place. So I will drag this in and put it into a new composition. And here's the trick about this one. If I scroll through the timeline, you can see this clip has like sparks and stuff. So I will go to the last spark which is right there. And I will crop the clip at that point and bring it back up. Now, if I go to the beginning and go 1 frame forward, well, here, you can see there's another Muzzle Flash, but there's a very easy fix. I will hit Ctrl-Shift-D to split the layer, and then I will remove that frame. So now, it's as if nothing was there to begin with. So what I did is I rendered this out, named it Cell Smoke, and now I have this clip. So if I go back to my composition, awesome, I will select my Cell Smoke, and I will drop it in. Zoom out, and bring it forward, right there. Zoom back in, awesome, and I will change the blending mode to add, awesome. Now obviously it's facing the wrong way, so I will right click, transform, and flip horizontal. And it looks pretty bad because, well, the size is way off. So I will hit S and change it to -20. That is way too small. So -45. Let's go for -50. Awesome. And I will position it right on the where the gun basically opens up. And I will select my rotation tool and give it just enough rotation as if something was blowing off that part of the gun. Awesome. Now here's the trick for this one. This one is slow as well. So I will right click, time stretch, and bring it to 50 as well to make it faster than it actually is. But we're not done yet. I will press T for opacity, and I will keyframe the opacity of the smoke, because for this one I'm okay with the smoke, it moves way too fast, but for this one there's too much smoke, let's say. So I will keyframe it from 100% to the next frame and drop it to 50. You know what? I'll actually make it 35. So now there's not like that much smoke happening at the same time, which is cool. And awesome. So close this. Now there's one last step, guys. And that is to have a bit of illumination in areas that would normally be affected by a muzzle flare, which in this case is my face right there and the hand over here. So here's how I do this. I hit Ctrl, Alt, and Y for a new adjustment layer. And let's rename this, and let's say light, just to know what each one of those things is. Now I will hit Ctrl-Shift-D and basically to split the layer. And what I want to do is change the blending mode from normal to add. Now it doesn't do anything because it has no effects on. So I'll go to effects, color correction, and curves. See, awesome. I will close it for now. And I will select my pen tool and I will draw a shape around the areas that I want the effect to take place. Now, I've seen many people go overboard with this, and it happens so fast that it doesn't need that much stuff happening. So for now, I think those areas are good enough. So let's see. I will open up the effect and close, hide better the masks. Awesome. I will click F to bring up the mask properties, and I will change the feathering, let's say 25. Let's go for 50, just for a smoother effect. Awesome. Let's try 25 on this one. Awesome. So let's see before and after. It's good, but I think it can take just a bit more. So I will pump up the brightness while messing up with the dark side. Get it? The dark side. Off, on. I think that's pretty good. So now I'll need to keyframe the effect of the layer, because the Muzzle Flash happens so fast, the light needs to also happen and then go away. So I will press T to bring up the opacity. I will hit the keyframe. Now, personally, I keep the light fading away for 4 frames, 3 or 4 depending on the situation. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll hit Ctrl-Shift-D to split the layer and then delete, because we don't need the rest. And I will go to the opacity and click 0. What I'm also gonna do So I'm going to select both of my keyframes, hit Shift and F9. That basically makes the transition for bright to not bright at all smoother. So I'll close this and let's actually see what's happening. I will zoom out, hit N to bring the timeline in, and I want to preview this part right there. So I will zoom, let me reframe this, and let's put it to half and preview. Okay, that's it. Let's see it again. Okay, now there is a problem here. The cell casting stays in the frame way too long. Now I don't want that, so I will click my cell layer and hit P, and I will bring this one frame closer. So now it happens only, you can see the cell only for 2 frames, and I will actually change and bring it just out of the frame right there, because I think it will look cooler. So let's preview this one again. Way better. Now also I'll change the rotation because it's way too evident, and let's press S and change the scale to 15, because I think it's, here's the thing about visual effects. If it's super easy to see, it gets a bit distracting, but if everything merges in a good way, that's when the magic happens. So let's preview this again. Okay, that's it. Awesome. Pop, pop. Good. Now, of course, it looks like something is missing, and that is sound effects, but we'll get to that later. So I will move up and I will go to the next gunshot, which is right there. So as you remember, it's the same process again. Go 1 frame before the shot, fix 1, the slide, the muzzle flash, the cell casting, and the light. So I will go a bit faster this time, just because we already did the previous things. So I'll select my layer, Control B, Control Shift D, delete the previous. And I will take it above everything else, because this way I can like manage the amount of visual effects. So I'll go 1 frame forward, Control Shift D, and delete it, and go back. So now the slide will stay only for 1 frame. I will zoom in, my pen tool, select my layer, and zoom in here, and do the exact same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Many points. Just because we want to be super detailed. Awesome. I'll select P, hide the mask, and drag it back right there. Okay, hit F5, double aim for mask properties, -2.5. Yeah, it's okay. It happens so fast that there's no real reason. So I will go to the first slide and just copy the directional blur so I save some time. Control V to paste. Awesome. So now I will open my VFX folder and I will go to the next Muzzle Flash. Now I think I used number 10, so I'll go for number 8 now. Let's open the project and then drag and drop. Awesome. So I will bring in my new Muzzle Flash on my timeline, zoom out, bring it in. It's essentially the same thing again and again. So I will find my Muzzle Flash right there. Now again, I need to change the time to make it way snappier. So time, then stretch, and 50. Awesome. And I will try to find a good position that makes sense. So again, too small, so I hit S and 125. Okay, let's play with the rotation because this one's off. Right there. Bring it in. I'm actually not a fan of this one, so I'm going to delete it and let's try number 7. Believe it or not, not everything fits. Zoom out, bring it in, right there. Zoom back in. Freaking autosave. I don't want to autosave, but sometimes it saves your ass. So right click, time, type stretch, and 50. Awesome. Let's try to position this one. So hit S, 120. I think it looks a bit better than the other one actually. So I will transform, flip vertical. So I'm just trying to see what makes sense. I'll rotate just enough. Right there. Zoom in. Put it on the barrel. Cool. So that looks good for now. So I'm just going to move to the next steps. Now, in order to save time and effort, because there's really no point, guys, I will copy the cell smoke and the actual cell layer by hitting Ctrl-D, bringing them up, right there, and then moving them forward, because it's essentially the same effect. Now, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna select my cell smoke, reposition it, and then rotate it just enough, so it's not exactly the same. Put it down, check the opacity, awesome. And then go to my cell layer, hit P, move the position frames just a bit, and then move the entire layer so it's not exactly the same. And then just crop the thing. So now it's right there. So let's say pitch up, actually pitch down. Boop, boop, awesome. Okay. With that done, I'm going to hit Ctrl-D on my light layer because we have light missing. And because we did it as an adjustment layer, you just can copy it, bring it in the front, adjust the masks, and you're basically done. Super fast. Not furious though, I'm just saying. And this one, so I'm just gonna clip them and drag them in the right spot. Awesome. Hit T. Awesome. So let's preview this again with a new gunshot. 2 in a row. Let's have a look. Preview. 1, 2. And then we will move to the medium shot. Yes. 1, 2. It looks pretty good actually. And again, when the sound comes in, it's gonna look way cooler. And can you see what I meant with the shell? It goes away so fast that it's actually more real than... And you don't have to worry that the viewer will not notice it. So many things we don't actually notice, but because it's there, it makes the thing more real. So I'm happy with how this looks. I mean, obviously, you can like tweak the settings to make everything look better, but because this is a tutorial and don't have the time of the world, I think for now it looks quite good. So I will move to the next shot, which is right there. Okay, let's increase our timeline and then move frame by frame to find the next spot, which is right there. So right there. So again, guys, as you can see, it's the same process again and again. I will Ctrl-D to duplicate my actual clip, bring it up from everything, because as you can see here, when I look back, I know that this one is the first gunshot. This one is the second gunshot. So this one will be the third. So Ctrl-Shift-D, delete. I forgot the shortcut for this one. Anyways, zoom in, pitch down, Ctrl-Shift, and delete. Oops, that was a mistake. Ctrl-Z, Ctrl-Z. Yep, I selected everything. So Ctrl-Shift-D and delete. Awesome. Page up. So now, you guessed it. I will select my pen tool, select my layer, and zoom in here and do exactly the same. See, here I was so close that my fingers would overlap the slide and this would not work. So you need to be super careful. But again, if you can't fix the slide, trust me, it doesn't count that much. Actually, sound editing makes way more has a way more impact on the gunshot than the visuals, if I have to be honest. So I will hide my mask, click my layer and bring it back. Right there. Hit F5. Hit, actually, it looks fine. So I will go to my previous slide. Where is it? It must be this one, I'm guessing. Go to Effects and Control C and Control V to paste the directional blur. Now for this one, because the camera is further away, I need to reduce the amount of motion blur. So let's say 5. Let's say 3. Awesome. Okay, now we're in business. So actually I will go and find this Muzzle Flash that I didn't use before. I'll drop it in, zoom out. I know it's a bit tedious, but I want you to see the entire process being done more than once, because otherwise you can't really. And I think it's more useful for you guys than to just show you one and be done with it. So I have my flare. I will right click, right click, time stretch and make it way faster. Awesome. And then I'll take my rotation tool and again do the same thing. Try to fit it in the clip right there. Actually, size-wise, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'll just change the blending mode to add and we're done. That was actually pretty easy. Cool. So I will move on to the cell casting. Now, for this one, I will just copy the light, the shell smoke, and the actual cell. So, Control D to copy, bring it up, right there, and then just bring them forward, basically. Okay, right there. Awesome. And I will just try to fix this one. Let's start with the cell smoke. Now, for this one, it's way too big. So S minus 25. Awesome. Bring it right there. Great. Where is our actual casting? Right there. And again, this one must be adjusted. So I would say like 7.5. Maybe that's too much, but we'll see in a bit. And I like the projection actually. No, that was wrong. Page up, right there. No. Oh, that's why. I'll select my layer, hit P in the position, and now, awesome, okay. Right there, cool. Go up, and I will need to adjust my light effects because they're offset way too much. Select my mask and drag it back in. This one needs more adjustment because obviously the shot changed. And I'll just delete those things. Awesome. And my second mask. Right there. Okay. I need to play around with this one. There, and there. Too much. Now, the more precise you are with your selection, the better it will look. Just delete this one. Awesome, I think we're in business. Let's preview this once more. 1, 2. Switching view. And 1, 2. Pretty good, but I think there's 1, 2, 3. I will actually move everything 1 frame forward because I think it will look better on that one. Let's preview this one. 1, 2, and 3. Way better. Look at this, guys. And so when the sound effects come in, this thing will look so much better. Actually, will sound so much better. So let's fix the next one super quick. So it's this one. So actually, just to save some time and your time, I will Control D the whole thing, bring it up, and bring it forward, right there. I will leave everything else the same except for the Muzzle Flash, because this one you will recognize. I will delete this and I'll actually zoom out. Let's find the first one. You can recycle effects, and that's the cool thing after like some time has passed, because the viewer you will usually not recognize that it's the same effect done twice. Bring it up. No, this is too much, so let's make it 100. Let's see what's up. Too much. 90. Bring it up. Rotation. Right there. You basically need to like align the Muzzle Flash with the slide of the gun. Right there. Actually, I think let's make it just a bit tad smaller. 85. Reposition and right. Come on. Right there. Awesome. Select my cell smoke. Play with it again. Right there. And then let's not be lazy. I will hit P and change the position of my cell casting and then bring it back up. It's right there. Let's change this one. So much. No, not this one. This one. 1, 2, 3 frames forward, and there we go. Interesting. Right there. Awesome. Close this thing and then adjust our light masks. I will click page up, go back right there, and open up my mask. Actually looks pretty decent. I will just adjust this one. Right there. Awesome. Close my mask. And let's preview this once more. Change my timeline and preview. Awesome. I think it looks pretty good. See, right there. Where is it? Pitch down, right there. Ooh, the slide is a bit off. Where's the slide? Let's go forward and right there. Awesome. Okay, we're almost ready to wrap this up. Let's go. Oh man, there are like 2 more. Damn it. So, pitch up, pitch down, pitch up, pitch down. Right there. Okay. So, well, there's no easy way to say this, but we need to go on. So, I will do the exact same thing again. So, Control D to duplicate. Control Shift D to split the layer and delete the previous one. I will take my layer up, right there. Page down, Control Shift D and delete page up. Awesome. Once more, I will select my pen tool and paint my slide. Right there. Awesome. Select my select tool, hide my mask, and then drag it back. Right there. Go to a previous one just to copy my blur effect. Control V to paste. Let's make it 2. Awesome. F, let's put it to 2.5. Because this is further away, so you can't really see what's happening. So I will zoom back in. So now I need another Muzzle Flash. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use the second one, because we used it before. So Control D. Take it up, right there. Bring it forward. I mean, that saves me enough time that it's actually worth it. So hit S, make it 90. Zoom in and reposition the thing. Actually, right click, transform and flip vertical just to have enough variation. And rotation and fix it. Awesome. Put it right there. Perfect. Okay, so that's done. Let's copy the light and the cells. Control D to duplicate, up, and where are they? Forward. Right there. Awesome. Select my cell smoke, bring it in, rotate it a bit. Awesome. Bring it up. That's done. 45 cal. It's right there. Let's see the projection of this thing. Yeah, way too off. Okay. Let's click this one. And now my light effects. Let's open up my mask. Okay. Once more, I'm just doing the same thing again and again. Adjusting and using previous layers so I save some time. Right there. Okay. Minor adjustments and we look pretty good. So that's one done. Let's scroll forward. There's another one. Now, I did something that, well, I think it's more interesting than just letting the slide empty. So for the last shot, I'm actually want to shoot something that's between a Muzzle Flash, but also like blank to like simulate when the mag is off and you need to reload. So what I did is I recorded two clips, one with a gun that the slide is like that, and the next clip that the slide is off. So right there, you can see there are actually two different clips. So in the first one, the slide is set, but in the second one, the slide is offset. See, right there, to simulate that the mag is empty. So I just stitched them up, and because it happens so fast, you can't really tell that there was a switch in the clips. So what I want to do now is I will go to the point where right there. Now I will do the same thing again, but just a bit different. Oh, I forgot the slide. Oh no, I didn't. Awesome. Control D to duplicate and bring it forward. Right there. Zoom in and position. Position is everything, guys. I'm just saying. Right there. It's not perfect. Actually, let's just rotate this. Just enough. Okay, cool. Zoom out. And now I'll go to my folder and bring my extra Muzzle Flash that is supposedly for suppressed one, but I think it works pretty good. So I will drag it in and bring it here. Zoom out to find the clip right there and bring it into my spot. Now, do you remember what we do? Because this is a new Muzzle Flash layer, I need to adjust the time. So time stretch and 50. Awesome. And now, classic, I will just try to position the thing. It's right about there, but I'll change the blending mode to that. Awesome. And hit S, make it 85. Zoom in here and try to see what's up. I think almost. Let's make it 75. Bring it in. That's better. Right there. Awesome. Pretty good. And because it's not an actual Muzzle Flash, we will not duplicate the light effect. So I will just use the cell smoke and the shell. Control D to duplicate. Bring them up. Bring them forward. Okay. Let's select the cell smoke and actually right click, transform, flip vertical. Awesome. Position it. Rotate a bit just to have enough variation. Now just right there. Now for the cell, I'll hit P because okay. There should be 3, not 4, which means I had an extra one, which doesn't really matter, but it does, so. Up. Just changing it, so it's something different. Right there. Right there. Okay, changing the position. Okay. I think that's it. So let's preview this. the entire thing this time. One, two, three, four. And the new ones, come on. 5. And 6. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. There's a problem, as far as I can tell, with the cell smoke. So let's see what's up with that one. Okay. Cell smoke T. Zoom in here. Come forward. I think it's actually too slow for the medium shot, so I will right click, time times stretch, and let's make it 35. And then I will also change the opacity from 50 to like 35 or 25. Okay, now we'll do the same for the other one. Cell smoke, right click, time times stretch, 35, hit T for opacity, delete bits down, and 25. Awesome. Let's see how this one looks. So let's see how this one looks. Preview. 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ugh, that's so bad. Transform, flip vertically, right there. Okay. And this much better. Okay, but I will need to fix this for the other ones as well. So let's go here, right click, time times stretch, 35, hit T. See, this is what happens. There's always something that can be done better. 25, okay. And the last one, cell smoke T. Let's delete this thing. Go right there. Right click, time times stretch, and 35. Go to the next frame, change the opacity to 25. Okay, this should fix. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna change it for this ones as well. So, cell smoke, right click, time times stretch, 35. For this one, time times stretch, 35. That's what happens when you live edit. Anyway, let's check this one. It's very interesting to me because now that I've seen it again and again, it just looks like there's too much smoke. So I'm actually going to mess around with the opacity once more. So let's make this one, delete bits down. Let's make it like 10%. Too low. Let's make it 15. Okay. Go to the next ones and do the same really quick, just to see if we can fix that one. There we go. Yeah, it's way too much smoke. Close the T. Next one. 15. Just like play around. $15 again. I'm just doing the same thing to everything basically. Right there, hit. And 15. Awesome. Let's preview this one. Way better. And if you can like see right here, we don't actually see it moving on actual time because it's recording at the same time. So let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it does the same thing. Okay, awesome. So if you have more time, you should spend a bit more time blending everything in, but you got the idea. So now I did one extra thing for the last shot. If I show you again, as you can see, there's a bit of smoke coming off this area, and that was super easy to do actually, but I was surprised of how well it turned out. So what I did for this one, let's page down. I created a new layer by hitting Ctrl Y. Let's make it black. Hit OK and OK. Hide the layer. Ctrl Shift D, then delete. So what I did, I selected my pen tool, zoomed in here, and made a mask around. Actually, I made a mask around the areas that the smoke should not affect. It's right there. So now what I have is a layer, and by bringing in a smoke layer, smoke number 2, again from Action Essentials, drag it in. Well, actually, yeah, let's change the scale, make it like 25, overkill, 50, right there. Here, look what happens. If I check the track matte to alpha matte, you can only see the layer through the layer above it. But if I change to alpha inverted, see what happens? Right there. So I'll select my layer and adjust the mask right there. And by double clicking M, I bring up the mask properties, and let's play with feathering 5. Let's say -1. Actually, let's make it 2. 2.5. Okay. And a lot of adjustments. Now, this looks okay, but by going to the smoke and hitting T and changing the opacity to make it just visible, like 25%, right there. Actually, 25 is too much, so let's go with 15%. Awesome. So what I did next is I tracked the gun. It's simple. It was a simple track motion, and I just tracked this section, let's say, and then I linked my black solid and my smoke to that null object, and so they just follow it for like 5-6 frames, and that was it, the entire effect. And actually, just to show you a trick, now that you have the smoke layer, if you take the pen tool and drive a simple mask around the smoke, click M and subtract the mask, hide the mask, and then press F and start playing with the feathering. As you can see, you can hide the smoke and make it look like it actually disappears. Right there. See? That's all. Which I think is a pretty cool trick to do, and it adds to the overall effect, you know, the smoking barrel kind of thing. Okay guys, that's a wrap. I hope you learned something. As you saw, there's always small things that can go wrong, as they did in my edit, and you need to spend the time and tweak things here and there in order to make them disappear, the issues, that is. And I truly believe that by showing you guys multiple edits of the same thing, I mean, we did like 5 muzzle flares. You learn more than just one. So I'll see you guys on the next one, where we'll bring this to life by including sound design. It's gonna be awesome. See you guys. Until then, stay awesome.